Welcome to Knicks.com. Jonah Ballow here with assistant coach Josh Longstaff, and the Boston Celtics are the next matchup on the docket for your squad. But I'd like to review what's happened this past week for the group. Really strong outings, especially Miami, you get a road win. San Antonio was a loss. But how do you review the week and the progress that your team has made and now what we're seeing come to fruition for this team?
Well, Coach Fisher preaches just for us to get better every day. Take every day, one day at a time, try to get better. And I think that's what we're doing right now. As far as offensively goes, we're spacing a little bit better. We're really moving the ball really well. Carmelo is getting double teamed often, and he's really moving that ball on. We're making the extra pass and getting open looks. And then defensively, we've really picked up the intensity, the communication, and the physicality, which has really kind of helped us through the last week and a half or so.
We've seen also Coach Fisher going to the shorter rotation. He said that's not necessarily going to be the end-all, be-all for this team in terms of not playing, Kyle or Kevin in certain circumstances. But what do you see from a shorter rotation and how that can help?
It helps players with their consistency, and they know every day that they're going to play, and it definitely helps with that. But, like Coach Fisher said, we have so many guys on this team, and we're so deep that that's kind of the beauty of our roster this year. And as long as everybody stays ready with their daily work, then, it kind of benefits us in the long run.
I also want to talk about Lopez. I don't think he's getting enough credit for this recent streak and what he's done. Also, his minutes have increased, I believe, to about 10 more minutes per game during this past week. What is his impact on the floor, especially on both sides, and how he can really affect the outcome of a game?
Robin's such a big presence on both ends of the floor. I think offensively he's figuring out where to get easy looks, and he's figuring out the spacing, the little duck-ins and things like that, and he's been finishing really well around the rim. And then defensively, he's our anchor, and that's one of the main reasons we got him. He does a great job protecting the rim, and he's really kind of taking over the defense and really using his voice and commanding what he wants. So it's really helped us on both ends of the floor. He's done a really good job.
Yeah, I think it's amazing when you watch him in that pinch post area now, either going to his hook shot, and having the defense collapse on him, or he's a great passer too, and I think his intelligence is starting to show through and what he can do in this triangle offense. Do you see that as well?
Yeah, definitely. With this offense in our system, it takes a little bit of time to get comfortable, and you see the way Jose, another guy, is playing this year, and he feels more comfortable. And even last year, he was hurt a little bit, so he didn't get a full season. But I think Robin's really starting to feel comfortable and knowing where guys are supposed to be, and it helps all of us. It helps all the guys, and as we keep going, we'll see even more of an improvement as they keep that comfort level up.
Okay, before we touch on Boston, I want to also bring out this point. The team getting out to a good start. You have a lead or you're tied in the last 5 games in each of these 5, and really you can see the tempo and control looking like the team that should be the favorite team, the commanding team of that game and expected to win. Is that something that I'm just seeing, or do you guys see that as well?
No, we see that for sure, and it's a tribute to those guys getting a feel for each other and playing together with each other, and it's a whole new team this year, so for the most part. I think they look more comfortable out there. They're getting more comfortable with the offense, the defense, and that just helps the unit as a whole.
All right, Boston comes in. 2 teams talk about going in opposite directions. They're struggling now. What do you think has been the issues for them? How much tape have you been able to see since that first matchup against the Knicks on the road there at TD Garden, and maybe some of the issues that they've had lately?
Yeah, we've watched plenty of film on them, as we do with all the opponents, but each team kind of hits this little bump in the road right now. We know they're a good team. They play extremely hard. They have tough players, so defensively they're always pretty good. But his shooting has dropped a little bit, which happens. But we're looking at them the same way we did before, and they're a good team, and we just got to make sure that we're ready to compete, and we have the appropriate fear going in against them.
I like that, appropriate fear. That's a good way of putting it. When you face a team earlier on, and you guys were essentially a completely different team in terms of where you're at now, I would assume that's how you look at it. Yeah. Do you really go back and look at that game, or is it more about where both teams are at this moment, and how much can you take away from that first matchup?
No, you go back and look because you want to see kind of the things that they were trying to do, things they were trying to take away, and the same thing for us, what did and didn't work. And we want to make sure that we do all of our preparation. It's only fair to the players that we do that. And, it's the same thing now. We're looking at the way they're playing, the way that we are playing, and we'll, strategy-wise, we'll come up with a couple of different adjustments going into the game. But, we definitely look back and see what can work for us this time and maybe what didn't work.
Their guards, is that really the catalyst of their defense in terms of what they're able to do outside on the perimeter and not limiting the impact that goes on inside the paint with their team?
Yeah, I mean, their guards and their wings, they have tough guys. Jay Crowder is one of those guys in the wings. He's a very tough defender. And, they have a defensive team and defensive mindset, and that's a tribute to the players. And as well as Coach Stevens, that's his mindset as well. So, they're just solid all around. They have all 5 guys are kind of on the same page on the defensive end, and we know it's going to be tough, and we're going to have to move the ball.
All right, final question. When a guy like Derek Williams goes up for an alley-oop or Chris Stapps with his reverse putback, and the fans are going nuts, your bench is going crazy, what are the coaches doing?
We're thinking of telling him to get back on defense, actually.
Is there any chance for celebrate? I mean, even after it's done?
I mean, there may be a couple of looks at each other, but we got to make sure that we stay focused and do our job and make sure that we're looking at the next play and keeping everything in perspective. But, of course, those are great things that we like to see. And a lot of that is coming off, just getting a feel for each other and everyone's those are feel-good plays that we like to call it, and we love those plays, and I'd love to jump up and give a fist pump, but I got to make sure that we stay focused and as a coaching staff and look at the next play.
All right, we'll do the celebrating for you, the fans out there. That's their job, right? And you guys stick to the clipboard. Well, always love the insight. Appreciate your time, and let's get another W and keep this thing rolling.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
There he is, assistant coach Josh Longstaff, right here on Knicks.com.